The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions.
It's still 0-1 month.
That it is.
Yes, well, it's 0-1 degrees outside.
No shit.
It was 22 when I left the house this morning.
Quite chilly.
It's cold.
Gotta love the winter.
No, you don't.
But yeah.
Honestly, I'll take this over the weird summer weather we were having a few weeks ago.
Yeah, factual. Yeah, 0-1 month part 3.
Mm-hmm.
This time, we are doing Real X time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot more excited. This is like the last week I'm going to be excited to talk about this month. I just want to let y'all know beforehand because next week is going to be a whole different issue. Also, I know what our next review is going to be.
Okay.
It'll just be you and me.
Okay.
Yay.
Real X time.
Real time.
Let's talk about it.
Where do you want to start?
I mean, we can just start on our general feelings about this movie.
It was good.
Yeah, I actually like this
It
movie.
was good.
Yeah. I put this up there as probably the best one since probably Forza's. Just in terms of like pure enjoyability, at least on my end.
I'm trying to remember all the ones from Forza and from
Wizard and Magic Land.
that was okay.
The soccer guy movie.
No.
The Wizard and Magic Land was okay.
No.
The Ghost one.
No.
What was the ghost one?
Good question.
Wasn't it the Pac-Man? No.
No.
That was the X8
That was
team
the
up.
X8
And that one was good.
The Drive one. I remember zero about that.
I remember the Drive. I remember the one because the Drive from the future.
For posterity's
Oh, yeah.
sake, I'm just going to agree with you and say
Surprise
this is
Drive.
the best one
Surprise
since
Drive actually
Forza.
wasn't bad.
Surprise Future, whatever it's called.
I didn't.
Surprising
I
Drive
actually,
in the future.
I actually enjoyed that movie. We are the future. But yeah.
Zeo movie. The Build movie.
Nope.
Well, the first half was bad.
Nope.
But we're talking about Real X time.
Yes.
I like how this movie is just a big countdown the entire for the 60 minutes, just to actually go.
Well,
along.
technically it's 120 minutes. Well, hour and 20 minutes, yeah.
No, it's short. It's 60.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched it yesterday.
I'm talking about with credits and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was built alongside the Karamasian movie, so it's still an hour. But this movie starts off with Kamen Rider Eden from the end of the actual show, basically having a cult saying we're going to send everybody to paradise.
Because what else would you do except start a cult?
What else do you do?
Scary.
I really kind of like his suit though.
Yeah, I like
the character.
That too.
The suit's fine, but the character I really liked.
Yeah. This deals more with nanotechnology, at least at the beginning of it, which is something that...
Not the beginning, the whole movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but this is something they really go into more than, say, what the show did. Because the show mentioned it, but they didn't really go into...
Because it was just the one suit.
Yeah.
With the metal cluster.
But yeah, I really like this. The red and blue and black. And a little bit of white.
And then this time it's nanomachines.
Yes! Which is why it still has... Like, I like when writing gets smart on how to actually deal with villains. How do you deal with a villain when you can't just punch it like you would with 0-2? You turn
punching is the only string to our bow, and, well, punching doesn't seem to work on this guy.
So what do? Turn into metal cluster and actively use that against the nano machines because we can have the grasshoppers and the nano machines. Or the locusts, I guess, in this case.
Yummy.
But yeah. So they also end up having a whole bunch of Kamen Rider Abaddons that are out. Just,
Yeah, these guys.
With the red gas-like thing where they put people into more or less comas.
Put people into coma, transporting their consciences, we find out, into another world.
Yeah. Also, I love that fight with Eden and...
We call it the Matrix.
0-2 at the very...
It did give me very strong Matrix vibes.
That's sort of, I think, the point, though.
I know, but it's still funny.
Because that fight that they have at the beginning with...
It's kind of like reverse getting unplugged. You get hit with the gas and then you collapse. But
you get plugged in.
But your brain is actually in there.
The fight between Eden and 0-2 at the beginning. One, they filmed it in the dark, so they had a whole bunch of light-up suits, so you know it was expensive.
It was light-up suits, lit by torches by people that are socially distanced.
And
the most socially distanced torchbearers.
Because night filming is expensive.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't filmed at night, it was filmed indoors.
Thank you. But yeah, I really, really appreciate what he did at the beginning, and then him basically reforming after Naruto does his finisher on him, and then Naruto getting kicked out of, I guess, the stadium on top of the building.
And I like the way that he kicks him out, but then he henshins again to like shield himself.
Yeah, after stealing the 02 driver because he needs satellite there.
Yeah,
to be able to
enact his master plan.
Yeah, and Naruto just gets thrown on top of a car.
He falls 10,000 feet to the car below, and
luckily he gets...
the grasshopper catches his fall.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, otherwise he'd be dead.
And then Naruto gets transported to the same world that everybody else got put in.
I liked this scene a lot.
That scene of him waking up on the subway.
Oh, yeah.
Just that empty subway, and it just like slowly rocking back and forth.
And then you see somebody in the background get off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, the cinematography. How about we do this?
It feels like a movie.
It really does.
Like last week, this one feels like a movie.
Yeah, it's weird. It like we said, it doesn't feel like just an extended episode.
It doesn't feel like a TV show episode that is now 60 minutes long.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah. The only question I actually had is like, where did he get that second 1,000 jacker?
He made it.
Yeah.
Don't ask
So
questions.
he basically ends up following. It's a woman who gets off,
Mhm.
and he basically just ends up following this woman into the church. I'm sort of doing this scene first before I go to the other stuff, because the other stuff is a little bit more interesting at this part, at least to me. But yeah, he basically ends up following this woman inside this church. This woman turns out to be the fiance.
We find this out much later.
Yeah, I'm doing this part of the plot first because
this movie is all about having multiple groups of people doing the same thing, doing different things at the same time.
Yeah,
because it'll cut to 01 and he's with her, and then we'll cut to the outside world and we'll see like Vulcan and Valkyrie or Jean and
we can skip to that.
Jean and whatnot.
Let's talk about pretty much everybody else. Because everybody's fighting the Kamen Rider, the Abaddons.
The Kamen Rider Abaddons, who I want to let me ask you guys, what did we think of the Abaddons in this? Of our secondary, like our henchmen characters.
I mean, they have
not just in terms of the suits, but in terms of like them as characters.
Them as characters, I mean, there really isn't much I could say about them because they don't really feel like they got a lot.
Yeah.
But I also understand these people because they're basically all doing this through avatars. Like you had this unattractive guy going to this attractive guy as his avatar. This, this woman who doesn't think she's attractive going into like this cutesy gothic Lolita type one. I think it's.
I will admit the suits though. That is A+ design.
The suits are a lot chunkier
they are
than previous designs we've had in any of this era.
It works though.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a design choice.
They're sort of like the
it's like a prototype.
The other, like the horseshoe ones from the main series that Guy would employ. They're sort of like those. So they basically are a lot bulkier, just like those. They're mass produced. But yeah, I think they're fine. I don't think there's anything interesting wrong with them.
I don't know why, but I get a steampunk vibe, sort of.
Yeah, I can sort of see that with all the piping.
It's like the color palette and the design work. Yeah, I can see that.
And I like steampunk, so.
I do like the person who got probably the most in terms of like bike action sequences in this movie. They do this pretty much every time they show her from now on. This Vulcan.
They did that really good tracking shot where they had the camera. They must have had it mounted on another bike where they're going through that very narrow space, and they've got all the jumps that she's going off, and then the camera pulls off at just the right time so she can scoot by the camera.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
As much as you don't like him, I oddly enough I don't really like him that much either, but Guy's scenes in this movie where he ends up capturing the guy who was selling the tech
I know you mean,
the bad people.
To the bad guy. And because he's trying to run away, he's like, I've been chosen to go to paradise, and he's trying to run away.
And Guy's like,
he has a rolling suitcase with him, and Guy kicks the suitcase, and it just rolls away. That made me laugh.
It's like, Guy's like, no, we don't do that here.
He breaks the fourth wall at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He turns so that everyone, he makes a suggestion, and everyone's like, no, we hate you, and they all walk away. And then he's like, well, he just turns to the camera, and he's like, let us all be friends.
Womp womp.
love. This is sort of the thing I wanted to see the most. I wanted a buddy cop movie between Fua and Jin.
Yeah,
Because every single time they're on screen together in this movie, it is amazing.
they have really good chemistry.
That
together.
whole scene where they're fighting. I love the scene where they're fighting the jet.
This is something I want to talk about. Kamen Rider is fighting fighter jets. That's badass.
It was so cool.
That's badass.
Just do that more.
You don't have to do it more, but it was cool to see. It's not something. It's usually Kamen Riders fighting either a monster or another Kamen Rider, and here it's just like honest to goodness fighter jets that are just strafing through the city skylines,
Being controlled by nanomachines.
trying to shoot Gene down.
Yeah, I like.
And
Although
it's the kind that like the cockpit space is like where the programming core
Yeah.
is, so that was another cool thing to see.
I just love the part where like Fua gets blasted off into like the distance, and Jin just like.
Or the part where he shoots the fighter jet out of the sky and the wreckage is going to crash into him. And then Gene is also like, okay, here I go. Time to go save you again.
And then watching Gene fly through like the under part of the highway,
Oh,
being
yeah.
chased by the jet throughout. Oh my god, it was so cool.
Mhm.
I loved that. Also, Horby. He doesn't really do
They
those.
gave Horobi the flowiest clothes.
They really did.
The flowiest clothes in this.
That's how you show the cool.
I mean, the scenes of him either...
That's how you show the emo.
I was going to say the scenes they have of him either jumping off of something
Typhoon.
high or running towards... that great scene of him running toward the camera
Yeah.
in the final fight with the four of them against the Abaddons. And it's a great shot because it's him running towards the camera, his clothes are flowing behind him, but then like as the camera is tracking him, the other ones join in, and then we have like a straight line of people running at the camera, and that was cool.
I also Izu in this movie. I understand because Aruto was really scared about losing her again, so he basically tells her to stay behind after he's challenged initially by S, because they do have a little bit of a flashback to show what happened to where we got to the beginning.
I love Izu and Aruto's relationship.
Oh, it's the best.
It's adorable.
It's so good. It's like I completely understand. Just like I don't want to lose her again. I already dealt with that once, and it wasn't that long ago. How dare I? So let me go ahead, have her stay behind, and go fight this guy on my own. And it didn't go well.
It's very overprotective parent kind of.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, the way that they really in the building of this movie where Horobi and Izu said they can't scan the Abaddons to see who they are, and they start like logging out of them after they're defeated.
Yeah.
And the gas
Because it's
starts-
just like an empty suit that just sort of crumbles.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the first fight scene where the guy and the girl just shoot each other.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we've done all we can here. Bang! And then they just fall over and the suits are empty. It's like, oh, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Even after some of the stuff where like Horobi sees as, because she comes back again briefly in this movie, which is weird because you think she would be here a little bit more. She's not. She actually
That was a weird scene because I forgot who she was.
she shows up.
She shows up and all I could picture was the crew going, ma'am, they're shooting Garo next door. I think you're on the wrong sound stage.
She was very dark wedding lady.
Yes, she was. The black veiled bride.
Yeah. But she wants to get the arc back. And Ryuto, who is S, aka Eden in this movie, is like the second coming of the arc. Because that's all she wants is to get the arc back. Yeah.
I'm noticing, some similarities in that kind of plot with Revice. Because you had the girl in the salsa outfit. With
Oh, yeah.
the red.
But this time,
Different.
she just built
Different.
different.
Yeah.
She built
Quite
different.
literally.
But yeah, I like when you start getting those background, like after you go back to Aruto and the other lady who is trying to get the Thousand Jacker out of the church.
She's trying to pull the sword from the stone.
Yeah, with the Hell Rising Hopper.
That's the next Kamen Rider.
With the Hell Rising Hopper progress key inside of it. And get that, the flashbacks out of her having an nanomachines in her. The arc comes online and just basically starts killing her. I'm just like, well,
This took a turn.
we were sort of already there at the beginning where we see all those unconscious people getting matrixed.
But they weren't being killed.
Yeah. They're just like, ooh. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to put everybody in her world so she could actually have some semblance of...
Coming off of the movie we watched last week, quality villain.
Yeah.
Quality villain.
Because you understand his motivation.
You understand his motivations. They got a really good actor to play him.
Yeah.
He does. I think he does a really good job. I think he's well written, and it's just a good story surrounding him.
Yeah. I loved it. It's so good.
It was a refreshing breath of
Also, the actual time you see her in the real world, where it's just the brain in the robot.
That was freaky.
And Harvey's like,
because it's like hung up crucifixion style, just like the torso and the arms, exposed brain, bunch of wires trailing down below the torso, hooked up to a bunch of servers.
And somebody's going like, this is still Kamen Rider, right? The kids show? Kids show, okay.
No, it's a crypto.
So they're shooting Garo next door. I think you're on the wrong set.
No, they accidentally got the set designer from Garo.
I wish they were shooting Garo next door.
Accident.
Because then we would have another season of Garo by this point.
No shit.
It's been a
Bring
couple
back,
years.
I want Goldstorm Season 2, damn it.
I want VR Season 2, damn it. Just give me one.
Or
Anyway.
Vanishing Line Season 2.
But yeah, and then we get the fight between Metal Cluster Hopper and Eden, which is... It's just smart.
It's good.
It is.
It's a smart fight.
No, it is. It's refreshing for a fight to not be like, let me just go to my more powerful form.
Yeah, because his more powerful form doesn't work here.
Go to my more powerful form, or I'm going to hit you this time and mean it.
Yeah.
We just have to hit them really, really hard.
Because he basically, like, Arta is getting sent back to the real world at this point. So he goes back up to the tower Metal Cluster Hopper, but the thing still gets activated. So there's a giant beam of death, doom, and destruction coming down.
Destroys the stadium.
And Naruto has used Metal Cluster as just a giant shield to stop everything, but it kills all of the followers that were there.
Yeah, and we see the bodies.
Yeah.
We get receipts.
I'm just like...
Good thing this isn't the kill count.
We'd be here a while.
Oh, I'd have to frame by frame this.
Damn it. But yeah, Izu does end up coming in.
Yep.
Seeing him, and we also end up getting Hell Rising Hopper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's this scene. Can we talk about this scene?
Yes, let's talk about this scene.
Let me get some visual aids up for me.
Alright.
When he uses a driver that he's not supposed to, shall we say.
Yeah.
And there's something so nihilistic and evil about this form and the henshin sequence.
Where it's just like blood.
It's blood, but also heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Does it even matter? I was like, oh god, what teenage son wrote this?
The same one who designed most of MatsumoJinrai.net.
It was MatsumoJinrai.net.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it's just a red recolor. But one, that tone of red that they use for this.
Oh yeah,
it's a very deep, mean shade of red.
It's a very crimson shade, and I believe the chest is a little different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's more than just a recolor. It's got some subtle design differences, but let's not run into a dark alley.
He just beats, like, he basically turns into Metal Cluster Hopper, but like a true Berserk form instead of being really calculated. Like the initial Metal Cluster.
Yeah.
This is just him going crazy. This, like, he's just beating the shit out of Eden and just yelling the entire time.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Sometimes that is required.
It's true.
It's a Japanese superhero medium.
Yeah.
Anime. It's something you must do.
Yeah.
You could not just,
but they do end up aims through the use of Naki and
right, Naki's in this.
Naki's in this briefly. I think that was something because of the production of the movie and the show when things were happening there. Because Naki and Raijin are both in this, but they're only in this briefly.
They're hanging out in the truck.
Yeah, Naki's with Ames just for like a scene, and then Raijin brings the bike because they can't get the Heisei there right now. So he ends up bringing the bike in a giant just truck. I'm just like, that seems to be a little bit overkill, but I guess that's also a cool scene. Giant truck rolling around. That would have been great. These final fight, like having Izu meet the old Izu inside of Heisei, getting all of her memories.
And gets her memories back. I really liked that, and This felt like a good way for her to get her memories back.
Oh yeah.
It felt earned. It felt natural. It felt like this is a way I could conceive this happening in the story.
Yeah.
As opposed to her just magically getting them back through the power of love or whatever.
Yeah. And then the other followers that weren't there show up to the original, like, I guess, crash site at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up and see, like, oh, this is what he wanted. There was no paradise. He was just doing this for his fiance at this point. So they basically end up going to the church where Eden and the others are. Yes.
Any of you Final Fantasy VII vibes from this church?
Well,
That flower patch?
Yeah.
The instant I saw that, I'm like, oh, I see where you got your inspiration.
Yes. Is Sephiroth coming from the ceiling?
Well, that's not the church.
I know. I'm just saying, if it's a reference, go all the way. I mean, she does die at the end of this, so there's really nothing you can do. 02, and I love the fact
Izu is 02, and
Naruto is realizing how
all the props to the suit actor
who just nailed Izu.
nailed Izu's physicality while in Kamen Rider.
Oh god, it was
And
so
I would
good.
also say this: props to the costume team for not feminizing the suit.
Yes.
it is the same suit.
It's the same suit. They didn't feel the need to like slim it down,
Add a skirt.
add a skirt, make it curvy or whatnot. No, it's the 02 suit. And I like that.
To be fair, it's not the
props
first
to
time
you.
they've done that. It's been a while because they usually don't share between male and female users.
Yeah.
But they did it with Ixa and Kiba and Delta and Fies. It just doesn't happen that often.
But I'm glad it happened here.
Yeah, and then, they get everything right between S/Rito and Akane, his fiance.
Yes.
And
I wish that's where the movie had ended.
Beru comes in and turns into Lucifer,
Yeah.
which is just a bluer suit of Eden's.
It's not a very impressive suit. It's just like the same suit again, but now it's a slightly different color.
Yeah.
And because I really liked that scene between Naruto and S, where they just have that conversation, and he convinces him to like essentially go back to the Matrix, and that gave me some Resurrections vibes there. Matrix Resurrections, like like the two lovers reuniting in the Matrix. But yeah, like go back, they reunite. Essentially, like that world is purged, and the two of them can, I guess, move on to be together in the afterlife.
And then they fight
and all the other people that were sent there via the gas and whatnot, they're fine.
Yeah, they get brought back, and the other Abaddons are fighting against the rest of the Riders.
True, but
which is a great scene.
It's a good, like, I like that scene, but I wish it had ended after Naruto's conversation with S. Because when that other guy comes in and then he turns into Kamen Rider Lucifer, and then they have to have another fight scene.
Yeah.
I felt like it didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
you could have just ended it there, and it would have been and I feel like it would have been much better.
the only thing I really needed, because Jin and Fua come back during this time, and you're just like, where have y'all been? What was that?
I mean, one of them took a fighter jet to the face.
They
so.
did. No, they took 3 fighter jets.
but still, it's
You get a timeout after that.
one of them you walk it off. 3
because
go see the school
they're
nurse.
talking to them like through headsets, and you hear like Fua scream off camera, and you're just like, what happened? And next thing you know, they're just back.
Yeah, they're back.
I still love that scene. I want to go back and talk about that scene, like the lead up to the first fighter jet getting blown up, because it's Jin flying through the city.
Flying through the city,
and then
yeah.
like Fua says something to him and tells him to come here, and it's Fua rampaging Vulcan and shoots the fighter jet straight through.
That's when he blocks it from
where they're like chasing it, like, and they go up a building, and then there's Fua to shoot it. I'm just like, they really did that for us.
Yeah, they did.
They really
That
did
was
that.
probably
And it was
really
good.
expensive.
It's a very CG heavy scene.
Yeah, it's
so,
a very CG heavy scene. But I still, like, even the Lucifer thing, it's just like, I still really appreciated the fact that it was Naruto and Izu fighting together.
Yes.
Especially because realizing Hopper turned out to not just be a one-form thing. It actually showed up again as the final form for this movie, because he was using 02. I'm also really liking how they seem to have done with these movie exclusive forms, where it's not like, this is the thing that'll solve everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Hellraiser Hopper was the problem.
The movie exclusive forms seem to be more story focused. It's more like it's like he can't use Metal Cluster, he can't use 02, so I'm gonna use this.
Yeah.
the bad guy has his own exclusive suit. It's not like, now I have the form of the bananas. Now I can fix the world.
The bananas.
Looking at you, guy.
That was an apple, but yeah.
God, the
Save
amount of
for
times
me.
Apple was reused in Game.
4 times.
Yeah.
All 4 of them. And they were all in movies.
No, there was one at the end of the show.
One at the end of the show.
Was there?
Yeah.
The purple and black version.
Was it the very last episode? Gaim came back from being space god to help Michi beat it.
Oh, well. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, this movie on the whole, though, I still really enjoy
Oh,
it.
love this movie.
I think this movie is really well done.
We
Yes.
need more of these.
We do. I agree. More good movies,
But what are
please.
the odds that he got a higher budget since it was the first standalone movie of the era?
But also COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
Valid. That is also valid.
Because this movie got delayed. It wasn't supposed to be after the event.
I don't. Is it more of a bigger budget, or is it just they decided to make it more like a movie? They just employed different filming techniques than they usually do for show proper.
Who knows? Because I haven't seen the Saber one, so I can't compare that to
Oh yeah, we got to review that, so we'll see. We'll see if they keep
That's
it
going
up.
to be an interesting review.
That is going to be an interesting couple of reviews.
Because I know one of us hates it, and one of us likes it.
And one of us hasn't seen it yet.
This is my Kyoryuger of Kamen Rider.
I know. That's the comparison I made.
You look so happy.
I'm going to tear that show a new one.
And I'm going to agree with most of it, but still enjoy it.
We'll see what happens when we get there.
Oh boy, the next Ultraman review, because Trigger just ended yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be our next
That's our
review
next
after
one.
this month.
Cool.
And then we'll have 3 weeks in between that and Zenkaiger.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're reviewing that next?
Yep. After Trigger. And the reason it's going that way is because when Dom Brothers starts, it would be the week we would actually that Zenkaiger finishes, and then we would actively be on that same week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be the week after Zenkaiger ends. Our review will be up.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be more caught up than that, can we?
Wow. Who thought we'd ever get here?
Yeah, it just happened to land this way.
But let us know what you think of this movie in the comments down below.
And next week
Is the
Metsubo Jinrai and
the
Vulcan
Mitsubishi Jinrai-
Valkyrie
the
movie.
01 Others movies.
Yes.
Always, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that and give us a like, follow, and ring that notification bell. Anything else we want to talk about before we sign off?
I think that about does it.
Just join us next week.
Follow us on other things, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.